Thank you to those in the previous Red Wings video who commented Nick Lidstrom. If you want a chance to be featured in the next video, then hey, stick around to the end of this video for the comment section keyword. Man, so on November 1st, we made a video on this YouTube channel titled The Unluckiest Detroit Red Wings Prospect. In that video, we were talking about Jared McIsaac, a guy who had not really been discussed on this channel before, but who had made his way onto the channel then because of a very, very big series of unfortunate events with his development. Just for the little crash course right here, Jared McIsaac was a prospect drafted by the Red Wings in the 2018 NHL Entry Draft. He was actually the fourth player taken by the team in the beginning of the second round because they had already taken Zadina, Veleno, and Bergeron at the time of his draft pick, but he was an early pick in the second round, a guy that many people believed could have been a first-round pick. He was a good player, and overall, his status as a left-handed defenseman who was 6'1", 196 pounds was really great. This is the Dobber Prospect Scouting Report from December 2018. McIsaac, very good skater, heavy shot, he plays a physical and aggressive game, strong puck mover with good playmaking instincts and even better defensive abilities, making him very suited for creating turnovers and transitioning the puck to offense. McIsaac is another player who could have easily gone earlier in the draft and is a safe bet by the Wings. He projects as a potential top pairing, minutes-munching, all-around defender who has drawn comparisons to Drew Doughty in his style of play. That was exemplified when he was just under a point per game with the Halifax Mooseheads on their squad as a D-man, and then the season after he was drafted, hey, he was over a point per game as well. Very good right there. But we made our video in November of 2020 because this guy was unlucky. This is because in the middle of 2019, he had to get surgery on his right shoulder. That process cost him about 5 months, and as a result, when he returned to the Halifax Mooseheads, he only played 3 games before they sent him over to Moncton. He had himself under a point per game run over there, was pretty alright. And he was also with the World Junior team that year, getting 4 points in 7 games played as the team won gold. But we said it in the previous video, man. People were saying this season was kind of a write-off because he was taken out and he had to miss out on a good chunk of the year, not working out, not training, not doing this and that, which probably affected the way he was able to return when he did make his way back onto the ice, not only for Halifax, but for the Moncton Wildcats that acquired him after he returned. Okay, the year's kind of a write-off. But for 2020-2021, he was loaned out to HBK Hämeenlinna in the Finnish Liga to go ahead and actually take his CHL talent, his overall production, his offensive capabilities, and his hard-nosed, gritty kind of style that is comparable to Drew Doughty to a top pro league in Europe. And this was seen as a great move. Okay, Stevie Y is using the picks that he got. Sure, he wasn't a Stevie Y pick, he was actually a Ken Holland pick because that was in 2018. But McIsaac was still a guy that many people saw as a potential first-rounder and maybe even a top-pair defender if everything goes right. So with all the injuries in the past, let's see how he does in Finland. Well, he played his first game. He stepped out onto the ice for his first shift. And 34 seconds after... oh no. He got injured again. He was taken out of the lineup after that and was actually sent back to Detroit because he ended up getting another shoulder injury, this time on his left shoulder, and then he got surgery which took him out for another 6 months. That was back in October. And this is a guy who had missed out on a very good chunk of the previous season, recovering from a right shoulder surgery that cost him half the year. Now he's going to do the entire process all over again, but with his left. Remember, when you're rehabbing from shoulder surgery, and you're a hockey player, you can't go out there and do your training drills. You can't really do your normal processes. Sure, you might be able to skate, but even then, the skating dynamics when you're moving your arms forward and backwards, it's all kind of disoriented when one of your shoulders is coming off a very serious surgery. It's very difficult to try to do shooting drills. You can't really stick handle the puck either because your shoulder is recovering. And you have to deal with this for 5 to 6 months. McIsaac did it once, and now he had to do it all over again. Well, it had been a while since we made our first video talking about McIsaac and his entire shoulder debacle. But hey, he went out there, he did the recovery, just like in 2019 where he had right shoulder surgery and he recovered. He recovered from his left shoulder surgery earlier this year after getting taken out of the HBK Hämeenlinna in October 2020. By the time April rolled around, the season was still going on, and Jared McIsaac actually fixed up everything that he was asked to do. He finished the rehab, he started training again, and the Red Wings were like, okay, great, you're in Grand Rapids now. Go out there and start playing. We want to see you in a pro men's league because you had been doing really well in the QMJHL, but now that you're older, now that you're in this position where you've taken your skills and you've polished your game up in the junior level, we want to see how you play against men. And that's what he did. He played 10 games with the Grand Rapids Griffins, the first one being on April 20th. But afterwards, oh man, on May 8th, just 4 games before the end of the season, the injury bug bit McIsaac once again as he sprained the AC joint in his shoulder and was sidelined for the final week of the AHL season. So man, we talked about how he was unlucky in October when he had 2 shoulder injuries that cost him a whole bunch of months. But he had another one again. He came back to North America, played for the Grand Rapids Griffins, and in that little stint, he had 2 points. Okay, not the best in the world, but this guy is literally coming off of a 20-month period where he only played hockey for like half of it. He spent the rest of the time rehabbing. So who cares if he only got 2 points in 10 games played? The fact that he's even playing is good enough. But he gets taken out again in May with another shoulder injury here. Here's the quote. It's on the Red Wings website right here. This article was published a few days ago. It's tough, mentally draining. Like, here we go again. It's the same ordeal, he said to Ted Kulfin of the Detroit News. Obviously, back-to-back and then something like the sprained AC joint, especially when my game was starting to come around, but the resources were put in front of me to get better, and I did as much as I could to stay positive. Before the latest injury, McIsaac said he was starting to gain confidence and get back in the swing of things despite almost going an entire year without any game action. Man, that sucks. I feel like my game was pretty solid for missing that amount of time back-to-back years. I stepped in and played pretty well physically, as much as possible. The mental side of it, I made a couple of errors here and there, and that comes with time and playing more games. This is what the Griffins coaches said about him and why they tried to play him in all situations. He's a two-way guy who can contribute offensively. Things happen a little bit quicker at this level, so the more you're put in those situations, the better serve you'll be in the future. And we tried to put him in those situations, power play and penalty kill. We did see glimpses of what he is and what he could be. He's got a bright future. He's just got to find a way to stay healthy. Okay. Find a way to stay healthy. Yeah, that kind of is the biggest thing right here. Obviously, this guy's path has been absolutely terrible from the end of the 2019 season up until now, but you gotta look at some of the quotes over here. This is what the coach says about the improvements that McIsaac could make to his game. It's skating, it's acceleration, it's strength, but with McIsaac's mental fortitude, those things will come with increased development and experience. He has showed great resolve in his commitment to get back and playing. It was a tough, long road with just putting himself back in the situation and back healthy. Anytime you've sat out that long, you start to get your feet underneath you and put in situations you haven't been in before. So it was a little bit of a growing curve for him. Now the article on the Red Wings website says something that I'm so happy to come out here and say. And now, after more than 2 years since his first surgery, McIsaac is finally healthy again. He finished with his rehab and is champing at the bit to get back in the gym, back on the ice, and continue working to make his NHL dreams come true. I haven't had a full summer the past 2 summers to actually work on my upper body. I've been rehabbing both summers, so it's a big summer for that. It's a big summer in general, preparing for next year. Jared McIsaac, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most underrated Red Wings prospects in the system right now? I think so, man. Just based off of the entire profile he has built for himself in the past, what he was supposed to be coming out of the 2018 NHL Entry Draft, where the Red Wings snagged him up was already good enough. But you take a look at how so far down under the radar he has fallen because of all the surgeries and all the injuries. If he pans out, if he's able to overcome his demons in an indomitable way, then you know what? I think this guy could be something. Like he was supposed to be something back in 2018. It's just you didn't foresee the injuries. So now, this is the time where a fully healthy Jared McIsaac, after so much time off, can finally start to get his head back on for the future in the NHL. Talk to me in the comments what you think about Jared McIsaac and the entire profile we had here. Do you think he's underrated? I do think he is. Mostly because the lack of exposure, the lack of playing time and all that. Sure, The time off could have been a very bad part for his development, and it could serve as the ultimate hamartia as to what his NHL future holds. But he's still only 20 years old. I want to believe in this guy. Actually, no, he's 21 now. Yeah, he's 21. I want to believe in this guy, want to give him a chance, and I hope you do too. Talk to me in the comments what you think. If you made it to the end of this video, comment in the comment section below hockey playing nights, because that's kind of what HPK is sometimes referred to. HPK, the Finnish Liga team, hockey playing nights. I hope you enjoyed this video. Talk to me in the comments about all your thoughts on McIsaac. Social Rolls 99. And bye.